You're listening to Playcallers. New episodes dropping every Tuesday at 3:30 p.m. Central Time. Available to stream across all platforms. Also, be sure to check out the Tiger's Den podcast. New episodes dropping every Monday at 3:30 p.m. Central Time. Available to stream across all platforms.
Hello and welcome to Playcallers. We got a bit of a different episode for y'all. Unfortunately, we weren't able to record this week with finals coming up and everything, but we got a pretty good episode planned for y'all. We got a best of moments for y'all because actually Playcallers was nominated for an IBS award, Intercollegiate Broadcasting Systems, for best podcast. We're so grateful to every single fan listening and thankful to every single coach that has been on the podcast, and especially thankful for our CTSO, our supervisor, the man that does it all, Mr. Dillard.
Yes, thank y'all for listening to this podcast. You know, if y'all follow HS Mass Media or either me or Taylor, because we post on our story a lot, you'll see that this, like Taylor said, this
Max
podcast
especially
got
posts on his
nominated.
story a lot.
Yeah, I do. I actually might post too much, but you know, I just want to thank y'all. You know, we put in this work for y'all. You know, we try to bring out this content, and I would like to once again say my personal thanks as well to the entire football coaching staff, and then also other coaching staffs in the future, because that's what we plan on coming to y'all starting hopefully as soon as next week. You know, we might be interviewing some basketball head coaches, some possible baseball head coaches coming in the future. I mean, we'll just see where this goes, but
Players, maybe? Question mark?
Could be. Yep, possibly. I mean, possibly. We'll see. But we'll
Hugh
just see
Freeze?
where this
Question mark?
goes.
Just kidding. I wish.
Whoa.
But
This
this is a huge step in the right direction. So I just want to say thank y'all to y'all. Thank y'all to the coaches. Thank you, Mr. Dillard, and thank you all at Auburn High School for letting us, you know, have this opportunity. So, Reese, do you have anything specific you are thankful for?
I just want to say thank you because, this is my first year doing it. Obviously, I can't wait to see what next year brings, especially with me possibly being by myself where, there's other people that I could get to join on the podcast. So I just want to say thank you to all the coaches and all the people for being on the podcast.
Well said. And with that, I think we're going to go ahead and let y'all hear this best of moments montage that Taylor was mentioning earlier. We'll go and let that play, and we hope y'all enjoy.
I wanted to ask, how would you describe your style of coaching? Because off the field, you're a big teddy bear. You're super nice. Does that translate to the field and the way that you treat your players as well?
Well, I think it does. I think I have a good relationship with not only the guys in our running back room, but the guys on offense and defense. I mean, because, to me, the preparation comes during all the summer days and the getting ready during game week. And then when you get to the moment of truth, when it is game time, hopefully you've done all the things that you can do to have your players prepared, and then you can just let them go out there and have fun, because we try to design our practices so that they're hard, so that when you do get to game time, you're just going to cut it loose and just have a good time. Now, we all recognize as coaching staff that our students are going to make a mistake, and I always say, if you do not ever make a mistake, you're probably not trying very hard. So just go out there, play your best, do what you can do, and that's all I can ask from you. And so I enjoy the camaraderie that I have with those young men, and it's just a wonderful, wonderful experience to watch them grow and get to watch them play and represent our school in a class way.
Yeah, I mean, like Max was saying earlier about the docuseries, we see y'all having fun at practices. We see instances of coach and player moments on and off the field. I saw on Auburn City Education Instagram so DeMarcus Ware being inducted to the Hall of Fame, I saw that you got to go to that moment where he was inducted and see his headstone and everything.
Yes.
Did you personally know DeMarcus Ware? Did you coach him?
Yes, I was here when DeMarcus was here, and had the opportunity to befriend him at that time, and we had a relationship that went well into, obviously his high school career, then his college career at Troy, and I actually was fortunate in that DeMarcus and or my wife and I both took DeMarcus on his recruiting visit to Troy, which was kind of interesting. But we were there with him when he decided to pull the trigger and go to Troy, and just maintain that relationship. And then a few weeks back, probably 6 or 8 weeks back, he reached out and just said that he wanted to invite me as one of his guests to that experience. And I can't tell you how humbling it was to get that call. And I'm just honored to get to know him, because he not only is a Hall of Famer from the standpoint of his athletic prowess, but he's a Hall of Fame person. He's a good person. He does things the right way. And he's the type of example that all of our students at Auburn High School can look up to.
That's awesome. Yeah. That goes back to like the personal bond that you make with the kids, how you're their mentor and they look up to you because they want to make that professional level, you know? And that's just awesome that you get to share that special bond with him and see that special moment with him.
Well, it was really cool whenever when he adopted his first child. She was still an infant, and he came by, and lo and behold, I'm sitting on the couch holding his daughter. And so it was an outstanding experience for both Brandy and I, just to be in contact with him on a regular basis. And I'm so proud of his accomplishments and who he has become as a mentor to young people and a leader in the NFL world, not to mention a leader in our community.
Yeah, that's so special. Thank you for sharing that.
Yeah, and Coach McKennell, I mean, it's been awesome to have you on here. And just to close out our show, I want to ask you, what can fans expect from this Auburn team this year, in your own words?
Well, I would say that they can expect our kids to take the field and be ready to play football. Now, will we be perfect? No. There's not a team out there that's perfect. But I will tell you that when they take the field, we're going to put a product on the field that'll make our community proud. And we ask that all of our students, all of our community to come out to the Met in Hoover. It'll be a big one. Number 2 and number 3 team in the state locking horns on the first game of the season. So it's going to be a great environment against a great opponent. And so we're just excited. And I think our kids are just ready to hit somebody else and quit going against each other, you know?
Yeah, very awesome. Very well said. I'll for sure be there. I'm very excited. So good morning, Coach. I was going to ask, first off, so as a running backs coach, we have a great running back room this year. What would you say overall, like, if you could describe the running back room in like one word or like one sentence, what would you say overall encompasses this running back room this year?
Well, good morning. I agree with you. I think we got a really good running back room. Selfless. I think our guys are really good friends on and off the field. They're each other's biggest cheerleaders when somebody else is in. That's just like last night, when the game was at hand, and, we get speaking of unselfless, you got a guy like Mikhail Ammons, who's a senior this year. He when it was his time to come in, guys that play in front of him like Tyus Flakes and Omar Mapson were, just as excited to see him get in and get carries as if those two guys were in there. So family, unselfish. They really do pull for each other. We try to, I tell those guys, being a running back sometimes, a lot of people do a lot of things for us to be successful. And, those guys really buy into trying to be great pass blockers and things like that when it's time for them to, be unselfish for other parts of the team. So that's what I would probably really say about our guys. They are unselfish with each other when it comes to each other.
Yeah, that's awesome. I mean, yeah, selfless is a great word, especially when you have a lot of great running backs in the same room together. And I wanted to go ahead and talk about just a couple of those running backs. You mentioned Tyler Flakes. He had a great night last night. I saw he had gotten like a couple of 10-plus yard runs in the first quarter and throughout the game. And then you also have Omar Mabson, who had a rushing touchdown, and now he has scored a rushing touchdown in each of the last 3 games. How does their tandem work from a coaching and game planning standpoint for those two players?
I tell those guys we should never. They have to run. They have to be reckless all the time. When you're blessed with being able to have two quality guys like we have to be able to play, there is no reason that we should ever have a snap where you're not going 100 miles an hour. And that's the way we try to coach those guys. Yeah, Tyus, been knowing Tyus for a long time. I coached his older brother back in the day when he was at Auburn High School. So just again, real unselfish guys. They run hard, really good vision for both of them. Omar being the young kid. Has really picked up things really fast, and has a really real bright future. Tyus, I thought he bounced back really well. We tried to rest him a bit last week coming out of the Enterprise game, and you can see his legs were really fresh early on. And we were just trying to, get both of those guys in, get them some reps, and just really just keep getting lathered up for these next upcoming weeks when we got to really lean on them. So I thought they both did really well. Ty's blocked really well last night. Also, another one of those unselfish things. Both guys have good vision. Both guys catch the ball well out of the backfield. So I tell them we're trying to be every down backs. We want to be able to block. We want to be able to pass protect, and we want to be able to run the ball and catch the ball well out of the backfield.
Yes, sir. And then one more player I would like to highlight before I bring in our other co-host, Reese Kinder, is number 2, Tremarcus Webb. He's the senior transfer from Pike Road. He scored 2 rushing touchdowns in the Dothan game. I remember me and Taylor were actually there to watch the game, and great game, great coaching and everything. Y'all, the team was great, showed a lot of heart. And I wanted to highlight him because on our pregame show, I had him as my player profile for special teams because he's a multi-positional player. He can play running back, he can play defensive back, wide receiver, kick returner, all that stuff. I just wanted to ask, how does that work like at practice from a coaching standpoint? Like, does he do all the position drills? Does he focus on some more than the other? Like, how does that work?
Yeah, Trey Marcus is a special breed. You guys may be too young to remember the slash. So back in the day, there was a guy that played in the NFL. He played a little quarterback, played a little wildcat, and they used him at wide receiver. And that's kind of unheard of in the NFL. So they nicknamed him the slash, and that's what I think about when I think about Trey Marcus. I think our coaches do a really good job as a staff. Those are things that we try to get to the bottom of on Sunday. Get a game plan down for him and all of our other players just to make sure everybody's getting what they need at practice. So he does work all positions at practice. We do have two special team portions at each practice. So that's where he gets his special team work, pre-game time, pre-practice time. He'll get a little work at returning, catching some kicks, and some running back stuff. We'll go sometimes, depending on what the practice structure is, he'll spend half of his time at receiver. He may come do some inside work with the backs, and then he'll get some work with the DBs. And then when we're going 7-on-7, he never leaves the field. Sometimes, he's working both sides of the ball. But tremendous kid, great attitude. Stamina is very high level. I don't think I've ever seen him just slumped over or anything like that, and willing to do anything. You think about all that stuff you just called out and all those things that he does. He always had a great attitude and ready to go in whenever we need him somewhere. So we're happy to have Trey Marcus.
Yes, sir. I mean, I heard you say the nickname Slash. I've also heard another nickname, Cheetah.
Oh yeah,
for him because he's so fast and so agile and so willing to work.
How's it going, Coach?
It's going awesome. How are you?
Good. I'm just gonna get 2 quick questions in. What's the mentality going into next year with a few, actually most of the players coming back next year?
Yeah. Hunt. Hunt. Go get it. Go after it. We know the two big dogs in the state. Obviously, you got Thompson, you got Central, so you know what you're gonna get. But we're one of the big dogs, and we've been consistent. We've been consistent also. It's just now about getting over the hump, and so the message is going to be: we have the talent to do it. Now the mentality that we'll lock in, and we'll set the target. And, I'm not one to make any guarantees, any promises, because in this coaching world, you understand life changes at the drop of a dime. We're not there yet, but I do know that this team is going to be built off hard work. I already see it now, in the coaches, in the players. Where the target is set for the goal, and now each day will be about laying a brick in front of the other to kind of keep stepping up, so we can get there and finally get over that hill.
Yeah. And then my last question is there any younger guys to look out for next year, sophomores that are turning into juniors and juniors that are turning into seniors?
Juniors that are turning into seniors, Mike Gunn, Caleb Pitts, Ty Hudson, Kyle King, those guys, be on the lookout. Those guys are going to do big things this offseason, and I know they'll have big years next year.
Sir.
Younger guys, I think some guys on the front, maybe for my room at least, I think Trey Smith. I think if he really puts in the work this offseason, he has potential to be a really good cat eventually. So I'm excited to kind of watch what he does. Just there's so many out there. I was just ready to pick one from my room, but I'm excited, and I always tell my guys always know I don't have a thing such as starter. What we have is hard work, and you better bring your lunch. You better bring your lunch pail and your hard hat every week, because I'm not a coach that what you did the last game affects the next. Like every single Monday through Thursday, what are you doing that's going to put you on the field? And I know we have that. We have nothing but hard-working, hard hat, low ego guys. It's a team that is after a common goal, and I'm just excited, man. I really am just excited, and I know they are too.
Yeah. Thanks, Coach.
Yes, sir.
I'm here with DB for Auburn University, Keontae Scott. Sadly, he was injured. He got injured, and he's out for the season with an ankle injury. Keontae, what's some motivation going into next season for being on this ankle injury, and how are you going to bounce back?
It's just exciting, to not have a timetable on an injury and just basically be all on me and how I progress. So it's just exciting to be able to, challenge myself mentally, physically, and spiritually on how I handle my treatment and how I go about things throughout this process. So I'm just excited, and I can't wait to get back out there.
Yeah, tell me how Coach Freeze is done in practice and how good of a guy he is.
Yeah, Coach Freeze has done a good job with the program, man. I mean, since the first day he got there, he's worked to gain our trust and build connections, and he's definitely done that. I mean, we all really enjoy him as a head coach, and we're glad he's our leader.
What are you telling these younger guys that are just coming into the program or they're getting recruited by the program? What are you telling them, like on the group chats or messages that you guys have? What are you telling them, like motivation for next season if they ever decide to commit or come to Auburn?
Just to keep going, you go from a situation where, you're highly recruited and highly rated, and you go to a situation where you're in a room full of guys that were just, as recruited as highly as you. So it's just a situation where it's just a humbling experience. And for them to just don't lose pride and don't lose their confidence, because when their time comes, they should be ready.
Thanks for the interview, and I hope you recover soon. I'm expecting a full recovery, and hope to see you next season.
Thank you all for listening to that best of moments. We're thankful for y'all to keep listening, and we'll give y'all episode 15 next week. That's a wrap. Peace.
Thanks for listening to this week's edition of Playcallers. Be sure to check out our episodes dropping every Tuesday at 3:30 p.m. Central. Also be sure to check out our other podcast, The Tiger's Den, where we dive into the world of sports. Be sure to check out those episodes coming out every Monday at 3:30 p.m. Central. Thanks for listening.